Thanks, Peter. Look, what I'd like to hone in on today on the back of, I think it was the announcement on the 17th of July, which was around delay to the restart. Two areas I want to focus on is the metallurgical side, and also there's the issue with connecting to, and the delay to connecting to the power. So if I can start off with the adverse metallurgical result, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, okay, so look, a little bit of background to provide, because sometimes it's a bit more difficult to do that in an announcement and it's not easier to chat about it. So when we did the original feasibility study back in, and that was put out in November of last year, we utilised a combination of the previous data from the production in the pit that was done by Newexco, and there's very good monthly data and obviously recoveries and also amount of non-sulfide nickel, because that's the issue that we've come into. And then we took a composite sample and we used that composite sample, which was basically picked up from ore samples we already had, and that was a number of lock cycle tests was done on that, and that correlated really well with the previous production data. So we were comfortable that the combination of the Newexco previous production recoveries and non-sulfide nickel numbers and our own composite sample gave us something that was around the 65% recovery for the disseminated material, the serpentinite. So that was what we baked into the feasibility study, and I might add that when we had 4 off-takers / financiers do due diligence, they were all comfortable with those numbers as well. So it wasn't something that was concerning us until we did the drilling from underground, and also the drilling from underground which was RC, and also the drilling in the open pit for the resource upgrade, which was obviously positive. As you recall, we actually increased the grade of the open pit resource from about 0.63 to 0.72, 14% increase, added about 8,000 tonnes of nickel. So that was very positive, and we put that out in June. Off the back of that, we also did some more test work on the non-sulfide nickel component. And what we came up with from those RC chips was some higher non-sulfide nickel numbers than the previous production had reported. So that was a little bit of a that's interesting. So what does that mean? And we actually went back and had the samples reassay with another lab, and there was a bit of a correlation, which again we didn't quite expect. So we sat down with all the experts, so that's Strategic Metallurgy, who are our metallurgical consultants, our metallurgy project manager David, and also GR Engineering, and all of those clever minds all said, look, it possibly is a furphy, because what's happened is you're using chips, and so you've got you've got a lot of fines, and those fines, when they're tested, they may give you a higher non-sulfide reading than is actually fact. And of course, non-sulfide means that it's different. You can't recover that into the concentrate, so therefore you just get more nickel going to the tail. So your amount of nickel that you produce annually could potentially drop. So as a result of that, we thought, righto, we need to do some more test work on this to understand if this is an issue or not, and we're hoping it's not. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill probably up to 12 holes in the pit, and the good thing is the pit's dewatered, so we can do that. Take all of that diamond core, so it won't be RC, and then we'll run that all through a combination of, we'll composite sample all of that, assay it, test it for non-sulfide nickel, and then we'll do lock cycle tests on all of that, which mimics the plant, right? So that's the best way to determine what the actual recovery will be. And we couldn't do this previously because the pit was full of water, and we didn't think it was necessary based on the work that we'd done for the BFS, right? So we're going to do that. It's going to take, we've got a drill rig planned to be there mid-August. It's probably about a month of drilling, and the laboratories have said if we can get all the samples prepped up to them by the beginning of October, they can get the results back to us early next year, February. Now, of course, the reason why there's a delay there is the Christmas break, and of course that we just unfortunately run into that. So that's the nature. So, best case scenario, we do all of that drilling, have it all tested, and we come up basically with the same recoveries that we had in the BFS. That's what we're all hoping. And there is definitely a possibility that will happen. percentage-wise, I can't give you that. But, and look, worst case scenario, if the recoveries are lower, then we'll need to bake that into the numbers. And if it's material, we may have to put out a BFS update, early next year. And that's just the nature of disseminated ore bodies. You've got to get the metallurgy right. If you overstate the recoveries, that is not what you want. And also financiers now, and we've alerted them to this issue. We've given them copies, we've had discussions with them, and like everything, they're still obviously very interested in the offtake because the tonnes of nickel and the grade of the concentrate, but that'll be a CP to debt drawdown. So again, we just need to basically resolve that question.